experience of your life is entirely generated from within. Is that so? What is being generated from within must be happening your way. Must happen your way, isn't it? But right now, just about anybody can make you happy, make you unhappy, make you miserable, make you frustrated, make you angry, make you so many things. This means you're in a very deep state of slavery. Somebody decides what should happen within you, not even around you. What should happen within you, somebody decides. This is a terrible state to be in, isn't it? Because we have not taken charge of this fundamental thing. Something so tremendous has been given to us, but we are busy. We read one piece here, one piece there, we read one tidbit from this scripture, another tidbit from that scripture, and self-help book, this book, that book, all tidbits. But it's not working here and there in small way. On a certain day, a bull, you know a bull? A bull was grazing. Chomp, 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 chomp. Slowly, green grass led him deep into the jungle. He went deep inside. There was a lion who was past his prime and he was having difficulty hunting in the jungle because the animals are fast and he is getting slow. Then he saw, after many weeks of grazing, this bull had become nice and fat. He saw this nice fat bull, his mouth watered. He stalked him, found the right moment, pounced upon him, killed him and ate him up. Stomach became full. With great satisfaction, he roared. There were a few hunters passing by. They heard this roar, they tracked the lion down and shot him dead. The moral of the story is, when you're so full of bull, you should not open your mouth. So, the fundamental thing is, at least we must come to this. What I know. What I do not know, I do not know. Is this okay? Can we come to this much sincerity? What I know, what I do not know, I do not know. Is it okay? Yes. No, right now the thing is, whatever I don't know, I believe. Whatever I do not know, I believe. Once you believe, you get enormous confidence without clarity. Confidence without clarity is the biggest disaster on this planet. Human beings who don't have clarity must at least have humility and hesitation in them. No clarity, but they have confidence. Oh, because see, the nature of human intelligence is like this. If you do something stupid right now, tonight your intelligence will bother you. Why did I do this? This is the nature of human intelligence. But if your stupidity is scripture endorsed or God endorsed, then you can do the same idiotic things with utter confidence. You don't have to turn back and look. It doesn't matter what is the result of your actions, how horrendous it is, but you can go on doing it because God has endorsed your stupidity. Can we come to this much, at least all of you doctors, you must come to this, what I know, I know, what I do not know, I do not know. Is it okay? Yes. Because I do not know is a tremendous possibility. When you see truly, when you genuinely see I do not know, the longing to know and seeking to know and the possibility of knowing becomes real in your life. Otherwise, everything I do not know, I believe. You can believe anything. If we work hard enough on you, we can make you believe just about anything, yes or no? Yes. From your childhood, if we work on you, we can make you believe anything. Right from your childhood, if I go on telling you, my little finger is God, if I raise this little finger, divine emotions will genuinely overflow within you, yes or no? If you feel this is too bare, I can dress it up. You can do some things. This happened. I was speaking to a group of people in Nashville, in Tennessee. Tennessee people? Hey, okay. And I was just telling them a joke. In the joke, I referred to God as Him. Immediately these few ladies stood up and said, "Do you believe God is a man?" I said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." I was only telling you a joke. They said, "It doesn't matter, you said Him, do you believe God is a man?" Now this is a big issue in some of the southern churches in America. Is God a man or woman? They're trying to settle in this election, of course, but is God a man or a woman is going to become a serious issue in America in the coming years, once the president is on. But in India, we have no such problems. We have a man god, we have a woman god, we have an elephant god, we have a cow god, we have a snake god, we have a crawling one, we have a creeping one, we have a flying one, every kind. Because we are a very wise culture, we foresaw all the future problems that may occur. Who knows who will claim tomorrow what? I was just 2 weeks ago, I was in Uganda. You know, in Uganda there was this… Some of you come from there? Oh yeah. I was in Uganda 2 weeks ago. And Idi Amin declared, "God is black." I agree with him. Because if a white man can have a white god, why can't a black man have a black god? What's the problem? But these people don't know, because they've never seen God, you know. They saw only the messengers, sons and stuff. In India, we know God is brown. Yes, because God Himself landed in India 9 times. You know this? 9 avatars, 9 times God Himself landed in India, Himself. Not His son, not His messenger, Himself. Indians Indians are always very proud of this. God came Himself to India. To other places He sent messengers, sons. So, wait. So I keep reminding them, that is because God wouldn't trust anybody with Indians. He wanted to do the job hands-on. So He Himself came 9 times and failed. 9 or 10 times debatable, but failure is not debatable, isn't it? So, we can believe what we want. Our beliefs may have something to do with our cultural milieu. We can wear our culture. Culture is the color of our life. We can wear our culture, we can be proud of it, we can enjoy it, but culture is not a tool for seeking truth. Culture is not an efficient tool, because what you do today, whatever nonsense you do today, is tomorrow's culture. Yes or no? Whatever nonsense they did yesterday is today's culture. Culture is never a conscious process. To some extent, maybe. The rest is all hodgepodge of all kinds of things that many people did, isn't it so? Do you believe that all of you consciously creating tomorrow's culture? Are you? Not at all. Whatever nonsense you do, your children will pick it up and they'll do it little differently, isn't it? So, culture is not a conscious tool, culture doesn't have sharp edges, it is just like that, simply evolving like an amoeba in various forms, everybody in this room full of people, each person will have their own understanding of what is Indian culture right now. Yes or no? And you're free to have that, because It is you who making the culture, you're the producers of culture. This is not an instrument of truth. But if you do not know the truth about your own nature, how can you conduct this well? Only by accident. When you conduct something so sophisticated by accident, anxiety is natural, isn't it? Everybody is a client, you can put that up in your practice. Psychiatrist, everybody is a client. I was just joking, we started many crematoriums because the conditions were very bad in southern India. Isha started many crematoriums. People asked Sadhguru, what should be the byline? So we called it Kayantasthanam, that means where the body ends. Byline, I said, put it, everybody is a customer. Don't do any market development, just wait. Everybody will come one day. You don't have to do any marketing. Anyway they will come, isn't it? So madness is also going to become like this, that almost everybody is a client. If you get angry, you say, I'm mad at you, isn't it? You're admitting it. But without doctor's help, you're able to come back to reasonable states. But you're flying off. One day when you cross the line, if you cannot come back, then you're clinically ill. Yes? But otherwise also you're ill. If you do not know how to manage your own thought, if you do not know how to manage your emotion, if your intelligence does not function for you, it functions against you, would you term this kind of madness? Maybe there are not enough couches for all of you, so we left you loose on the street. But it's happening, isn't it? So, especially all of you being in medical profession, I would plead with you, you must invest some time upon yourself. If you believe that the work that you're doing is important, the most important thing is you work upon yourself. Because nobody can produce anything beyond themselves. Your work is only an expression of what you are. Nothing more than you can ever happen. Unless you enhance this, what you do can never be enhanced. Enhancing this means, there are many ways to look at it. I'll put it very simply, considering that I have to catch a plane. See, when we say intelligence, today, because of English language and the so-called modern education, the kind of education that most of us have gone through, is just education which was designed to produce obedient people, not intelligent people. It was not designed to cultivate geniuses. It was designed to curb your genius and make you into an obedient person, so that you can take orders from Her Majesty's service. Yes, essentially it was created for that purpose. Maybe you're useful in some job, but it will not allow you as a human being to really blossom, to create something. It is created for mass production of something, whatever that is. There are some interests, goals set up by other people, how to produce nuts and bolts for that large machine that we have created is how the education is structured. This is not cultured for individual enhancement, this is not cultured for… See, if you're looking at… Anyway, the children's schools are called nurseries, isn't it? A nursery means what? You must provide conducive soil for this plant to grow its fullest possibility. This is the aspiration for every life, whether it's an earthworm or a grasshopper or a tree or a bird or an animal, all of them are aspiring to become full-fledged life, isn't it? But the problem is, we know what is a full-fledged grasshopper, we know what is a full-fledged earthworm, we know what is a full-fledged bird, we don't know what is a full-fledged human being. Because for the human being, for every other creature, there are two lines which nature has drawn. Within that they live and die. For the human being, there is only bottom line, there is no top line. Because there is no top line, people are suffering. Or in other words, what you're suffering is not your bondage, as people are telling you, what you're suffering is your freedom. Because nature has left you free. You can be any way you want right now. See, if you were born as a tiger, you wouldn't have this confusion, you know. You wouldn't sit and worry, will I become a good tiger or not? If you eat enough food, you will become a good tiger. There is no confusion, will I end up as a pussycat, will I become a great tiger? There's no such problems for a tiger. There is no such problem for any other creature, because for all of them, two lines are fixed. You eat well, you will become that. But you eat well, this will not become that. This one has come without a top line, so it is left to you to determine what this should become. When such a freedom life has offered to us, this is the greatest possibility. Upon this planet at least, of the life that we have seen, this is the greatest possibility, isn't it? Instead of exploring it, we're trying to fix it all the time. This is that. We are trying to fix a top line. But tell me, whatever you are right now, would you like to be something more? You must tell me right now, otherwise I'll bless you. If that something more happens, what? You want something more. If that happens, what? More. So, you seem to be wanting to expand in installments slowly. So let's say I will make you the king or queen of this planet. Don't look at me hopefully. Does it look like I'm going to commit such a blunder today? No. Suppose you become the king or queen of this planet, will you be fulfilled? I'm asking you. You will look at the stars, isn't it? Yes or no? This is the nature of the human being, because you are not looking for more, you're looking for all. And all cannot happen physically. If you're looking for all, this means you're looking for a boundless goal, an infinite goal. You're looking at infinity and going in installments. This is a terrible crippling process. Yes, you're looking at the infinite, your goal is infinite nature, but your approach is installments. Can you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quickly and arrive at infinity one day? You will only become endless counting, isn't it? So if you're longing for something infinite, this means you're longing for something without boundaries. You're longing for something without boundaries means you cannot approach it with a dimension with boundaries. When I say dimension with boundaries, see, everything physical is possible only if there is a defined boundary, isn't it? Now, this we call a physical body because it has a defined boundary. If we pull out all the boundaries, then this is no more physical, isn't it? Physicality is a consequence of boundaries. But there is something within you longing to become boundless. If this longing to become boundless, if you give it an unconscious expression, if it finds a very basic physical expression, we call this sexuality. All you're trying to do is something that is not you, you're trying to make it a part of yourself. It seems to work for a moment and after that it doesn't. If you find an emotional expression for this, we call this love. This again the same thing, something that is not you, you're trying to make it a part of yourself. If it finds a mental expression, it gets labeled as greed, ambition, conquest, or simply shopping. If it finds a conscious expression, generally we used to call it yoga, but in New York City, I'm a little afraid to use that word because immediately all of you may start… What people are doing in the Times Square, you may start doing it right here, it's just next door. No, yoga does not mean twisting and turning your body. Yoga means you learned how to obliterate the boundaries of your individuality. You learned how to erase. Why should I erase? Not that you should erase, because there is no boundary, it is only your psychological structure which is giving you a boundary. Right now when you sit here, you are absolute, isn't it? This is me, that's you, 100%. But try this and see, close your mouth, hold your nose like this for a minute. you will know that this is not absolute, this has to transact continuously, isn't it? What you exhale, the trees are inhaling, what the trees exhale, you are inhaling. If you stop this transaction, or in other words, for those of you who are pulmonologists, one half of your lungs is actually hanging out there on the tree, isn't it? Yes or no? One half of your lungs is out there, because this cannot function without that. Now, this is not just on the respiratory level, every subatomic particle in this body is in constant transaction with everything in this cosmos, otherwise this cannot exist for a moment. See, here we are, sitting on a round planet and the damn thing is spinning on top of it. And in the middle of nowhere, you don't know where it begins, where it ends, here we are sitting and doing all this talking. Obviously, a million forces that you don't even understand are keeping you in place, isn't it? Yes or no? If you don't know, you go up a mountain or dive into the water, you will understand what I am saying. If you go up a mountain, your brains will fill up with water. If you go down, your blood and brain will become full of air. All that's happened is little change in pressure. So the whole lot of forces, even managing and keeping you in place and in one piece, isn't it? If all the pressure is taken out, we may become bits and pieces. Too much pressure, we may become something else. Not just pressure, on a million different ways. This is right now being supported by too many things. You're on life support, I'm saying. Constantly, otherwise this cannot last by itself. So, anyway, there is no boundary for this life to exist. The life within knows this. Even the body knows this. Only your mind doesn't know this. Your mind thinks you're an absolute creature by yourself. So when you consciously erase this boundary in your mind, this means you can sit here and experience everything as yourself. If everything in the universe you begin to experience as myself, then we say you're in yoga, or we say you're a yogi. This means a union has happened, you have successfully erased. What is the use of this? This means there are different dimensions of intelligence within us. Unfortunately, our education systems are using only one aspect of it, which is called the intellect. In yoga, we identify 16 dimensions to human mind. These 16 dimensions are seen as 4 parts. We will look at these 4 parts. This is called as buddhi, ahankara, manas and chitta. Buddhi means intellect. Intellect must be sharp, otherwise it won't work. But it is the sharpness of the intellect which is cutting you up every day. Not because intellect is a bad thing, if you don't have a steady hand, a sharp knife is a problem, isn't it? Why we don't give a knife to a child's hand is not because the knife is dangerous, because a child doesn't have a steady hand. In the last 24 hours, what do you think? Have knives saved more lives or taken more lives? Surgeons, please tell me.
We are here,
So she's saying because we are all here, they're all saved. It has saved many lives in a few irresponsible hands. It might have taken some lives, but knife is not dangerous. Sharper it is, the better it is. Hello? Yes. So intellect is not the problem. Sharper it is, the better it is. An unsteady platform, then it starts cutting you up. It either cuts other people or cuts you up. The next dimension of the intelligence is called ahankara. Ahankara does not mean ego as most people think. It is the identity. Because the nature of the identity, the subtlety of the identity determines how your intellect functions. Right now I say, I am a man. The stronger I say it, the more my intellect will try to protect my masculine nature. If you say I am a woman, it'll start protecting that. If I say I'm an Indian, it'll start protecting that. If I say an American, it protects that. To what extent? Even to the extent, even if it costs my life, it's okay. but my Indianness or my Americanness or my manliness must be protected at any cost. This is what ahankara does to you, because the identity, how you take the identity. There is an entire system of education in India which is about training a child how he should groom his ahankara, his identification, how he should groom it in such a way that it is beneficial for him and beneficial for everybody around him. How to groom one's identification, there's a whole process. Unfortunately, we've given up everything, we get stuck to something or the other. So identity is the hand which holds the knife of the intellect. How steady it is, how subtle it is, will determine what the knife will do. Now, this is rooted in what is referred to as manas. Manas means it's a huge silo of memory. Memory, we recognize memory as 8 different dimensions of memory, starting from evolutionary memory, genetic memory, unconscious memory, conscious memory, and many other aspects of it. 8 different dimensions of memory. When I say all these different types of memory, I'm sure you don't remember how your great-great-great-great-grandfather or grandmother looked like, yes? You don't remember that. But their noses are sitting on your face right now. Yes or no? Your body remembers 100%. Yes or no? It even remembers the skin tone of your great-grandmother. You might not have seen her, you may not remember, but it remembers everything. So the amount of memory that every cell in the body carries is 1,000,000,000,000 times more than what your mind can ever carry. We are thinking intellect is everything and thought processes become everything because this is a European mess-up that happened to the entire world. Somebody said, "I think, so I am." No, because you are, you may think. Yes or no? Which is first I'm asking you. Because you are, you may think. Because you become such a mental diarrhea that all the time thought is flowing, you think thought is even before you? Not because you think you are. Because you are, you may think. Like if I want, I move my hand where I want, I should be able to move my mind where I want. When I don't want, I must be able to hold it here, isn't it? Right now the problem is, it's become like this all the time. If this happened to your body, you would look ridiculous, isn't it? Even with the mind it is the same thing, your only comfort is others cannot see it. Yes? It's equally ridiculous. You're comfortable because you think the person next to you cannot see it, but if they pay enough attention, they can. They can, believe me. Now, the manas is a silo of memory. If you cut off the connection between the memory and the intellect, your intellect feels suddenly useless if it is not empowered by memory. See, people lose their memory, their intellect is still intact, but it's no use because there is no memory. So these are 3 dimensions, and the 4th dimension is called as chitta. Chitta is a dimension of intelligence within you, unsullied by memory. There is no iota of memory in this. What memory means is, memory is the way you are setting up your boundaries. With memory, you recognize, this is my friend, oh, I don't know who this is. That is my relative, I don't know who that is. You're establishing the boundaries of your life with your memory. Everything that you remember sets a boundary for you, isn't it? You remember, this is my country, now it sets a boundary for you. You remember, this is my father, it sets a boundary for you. You remember, this is my husband, sets a boundary for you. This is my child, sets a boundary for you. There is a dimension of intelligence within you which is unsullied by memory. If you touch your chitta, in the yogic lore, in a very mischievous way, it is said, if you touch your chitta, God becomes your slave. Because the dimension of intelligence which is capable of making a banana into a human being, if it became a conscious process, you would definitely live magically, isn't it? Other people will think you're superhuman, but I am telling you, this is what it means to be human. To eat, sleep, reproduce and die, you don't have to come with such a complex mechanism. An earthworm, if peace is the highest goal, you must come as an earthworm, and it's very eco-friendly. All its aspirations are 100% ecologically sensitive, isn't it? Yes or no? If you have a question, please. Yes, please.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. I have a question about medicine and law. In my opinion, a lot of physicians make medical decisions with fear of the legal system and malpractice suits. This fear affects the physician-patient relationship and increases healthcare costs. For example, I know I've ordered some tests for patients based on this fear, and I've seen other physicians do the same. So can you please speak on physicians' legal responsibility in taking care of someone else's health? And what can physicians as individuals and as a social collective do to overcome this fear?
In ancient India, it was always said, there are three things which should never be commercialized: education, health and spiritual process. The moment you commercialize these three things, they will take the society in a completely different direction. When I say completely in a different direction, people are telling me, I have no way to check the statistics, they're telling me the food industry on the planet is $7.6 trillion. The pharmaceutical industry is $7.2 trillion. By the end of 2017, they're saying the pharmaceutical industry will be well above the food industry. This doesn't look like we are creating health on the planet, right? We are eating more medicine than food. Doesn't mean that we're doing great, obviously. So somewhere we've gone little off the rails. And I'm sure, I know what I say is not going to be very popular here. All of you have taken up a certain oath, isn't it? So your commitment is to health. Your commitment is not to legal systems. Your commitment is to health and life of the person who sits in front of you at that moment, or usually they lie in front of you probably. Your commitment is to that life and the well-being of that life. If legal systems are such right now, people are exploiting it in many different ways for their own advantages. Let it be so, one or two will suffer, I know. But suppose all of you practice medicine as it should be for the well-being of the patient, I'm sure most of the time that's your concern. But sometimes legal systems, other things take over. If you ignore those things and do it, suppose half of you have liability cases against you, then they have to change the law. Right now only 1 or 2% are under the liability, so they won't change the law. I'm saying you must become a majority, then the law will change, obviously. But medical systems, healthcare, your education and the capability to meddle with somebody's life, all this was given to you with a trust that you will always keep the well-being of that person above everything else. Let's keep it that way, please. Whether people go to a temple, church or mosque, they're busy making deals. Deal makers and devotees are two different people. We need to change the equation. It is not for those who do not have to talk about sharing, because what little they have, they're not willing to share. When success or failure makes no difference for you, you are a true success.
I don't understand.
When the result of an event has no impact on you, both ways you blissed out, you are a success. Till I was 19 years of age, I was so taciturn that I barely spoke.